And so, it begins. Dark were the skies and chill was the wind as the land was covered in a veil of malice. Across the hill did ride a dread army of the night, cloaked in mist and fog, prepared to rain down death and destruction upon the land. And the people did crowd for a savior, a noble soul to save them from their impending demise. Just as it seemed all was lost, in strode a mighty hero, clad in shivering metal from head to toe. Wielding a terrible broadsword, he did cleave his foes in two, smashing their ranks asunder with righteous fury. And when the day was done and the enemy strewn across the fields in pieces, the people did turn to the warrior and say, "We shall name this day in your honor. Speak unto us your wisdom." The warrior said one word that day: epic.
One man, one Murloc, one giant angry badger. This is Blue Please. It begins now. Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com with myself, Total Biscuit. Yes, Total Biscuit is actually on holiday. I am Total Biscuit. Yes, it's like the foreign version of Total Biscuit. I am the immigrant Total Biscuit. I've come here to steal all your gerbs and your white women, if at all possible. It is 8 p.m. In fact, that is incorrect. And me being the most factually accurate person on the planet, Mr. Total Biscuit, it is 20:02 of your British Standard Times. It is 3 p.m. on the east coast of the United States, which according to YouTube videos consists of the entire planet. And it is 9 p.m. in... Oh, wait a minute, that doesn't exist, so we don't need to worry about that. My name is Total Biscuit. This is the angriest WoW show on the entire internet, apparently. Can you think of any other angrier WoW shows on the internet? If you can, speak up immediately. Let me know. Need to know what I'm up against, so that we can crush them mercilessly, yes. What have I got coming through the show today? Well, not short on content, which is quite nice. Blues have been saying a number of different things, which is kind of cool, so I'm going to be talking about a lot of that stuff. Not going to be crazy negative today. I think we had quite enough of that last week, but don't expect to have any punches pulled. Because, hey, it's just not how we do things downtown. Okay, what have I got coming for the show today? Well, I want to take 15 minutes of your time to, well, I want to talk about what we said on last week's show, because there's been a number of remarks made in the comment section. I always like criticism, particularly when it's constructive. So I'm going to respond to some of that criticism, and we'll try and go a little bit more in depth on what was said last week and why it was actually said and what the justification for it is. So we'll go into that a little bit later on in the show. Also, I'd like to talk about Rated Battlegrounds. Rated Battlegrounds must have a preset team. Yes, indeed. No pugging in these Rated Battlegrounds. So I have to ask, if you have to set up a proper team with proper class composition for Rated Battlegrounds, why exactly does that not apply to raiding? We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Also, the makers of Puzzle Quest 2 claim that complexity makes their game easier to balance. We're going to try and apply that to World of Warcraft and see if that same logic really works a little bit later on in the show. And, of course, your chance to contribute, you can email in the Murloc at CynicalBrit.com. This is the illusion of choice. Well, it's not really. The illusion of choice is later, but we can pretend that it's the illusion of choice right now if you like. Are you pretending yet? No? Why not? God, you guys have no imagination, seriously. God. Yes, indeed. I'm choking on my own disappointment. That's about it, really. I suppose that lines it up. That's exactly what you can be expecting from the show today. Actually, that's not the case. One last thing I do want to do. This is going to be a regular segment for a little while. Maybe about 2 weeks. until the end of the Steam sale. I want to be doing a little bit of a rundown on the daily Steam sales, and I shall give you a background on each game and tell you as to whether or not it is actually worthwhile. I'm going to be putting up a big article and podcast tomorrow. Yes, indeed. Tomorrow on the website, cynicalbrit.com, which is advice and tips on how to navigate the Steam sale, save as much money as possible, and not buy terrible video games. So we shall sort that out. That'll be on the website. But at the end of this show, I'll do that little daily segment for you, talking about the 5 or 6 games that are on daily sale today, telling you which ones are worth picking up and which ones are not. And that'll become a daily feature until the end of the Steam sale. And there you go. Right, okay, I think that about covers it for the time being. So, I suppose it's time for this.
Mail time! That sounds like it's mail time! Here's the mail.
It never fails.
It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes,
I want to wail.
Yes, indeed, folks, it's the mail time. That is the time when we read the mail. So, let us read that mail, yeah, and stuff. We find it. So I've got a few good emails, awful lot of good emails, in fact, to be honest. A lot of good ones came in over the past week or so we're going to be talking about those right here. Okay, here's one coming in. It's a little bit of a question of some description. At least it would be if my email window hadn't disappeared. Let's try that one again, shall we? There we go. Much better. Now behaving yourself. Almighty Total Biscuit. Yes. Arcane Magi from the Feathermoon US here. I love playing a mage, and I have been a tailor and enchanter for 2 years. When Wrath came out, I created a Death Knight and made him an engineer and miner. I had a lot of fun with engineering. I noticed that my Death Knight always had a lot more gold, whereas my mage just didn't have any gold at all. Well, there's your problem. You're a tailor and an enchanter. You don't make any money out of that. My question is, what profession do you think is best for a mage in terms of class buffing, money-making, and fun? Maybe you were saying that you are a tailor and enchanter. No, I'm not, actually. Am I doing something wrong where I don't make gold? Have you tried engineering? Well, I'd be very surprised if you're making any gold from that. But you certainly can make money from mining, obviously, because it is a license to print it. Yes, indeed. Okay. Right, so here's the thing about enchanting. Enchanting has rotted away as a result of stupid expectations and even stupider enchanters. So let me tell you about how dumb these people are. Over the past 5 or 6 years, there has become... it's an expectation that because all enchanters have to do is take mats and click a button, that their service isn't actually worth any money. And when it is worth money, it's worth a token amount. And that amount has not increased since the start of WoW. So, here's an example. High-level enchanting, back in the day, days of vanilla, you were looking at about 3 to 5 gold enchanting fee for anything that wasn't uber rare, and then whatever the hell for a rare one. Obviously, you could demand the price that your server would actually bear, depending on how many people had that enchant and what the kind of competition was. So I went to a TBC, and enchanting cost the same then. It was like about 5 to 10 gold fee for the actual enchantment, assuming that your guy had the mats. Now it's Wrath, and it's still a 5 to 10 gold fee. Here's the thing. Money in Wrath of the Lich King has inflated to a very significant degree, and yet enchanting fees have not kept up. Which means that if you're sitting in a city and you're doing enchants, and even if you get a steady stream, the amount of enchants you're actually getting done and the amount of cash you're making from it is pretty damn minimal. You could sit around, if you so wished, trying to make money from enchanting, but it is a total pain in the ass. Now, there are other factors that prevent you from making good money as an enchanter. One thing, scrolls. Yeah? Scrolls are used as dumping for reagents for anything that isn't a max level enchant. So forget about making any money off of anything at all that is not a max level enchant, because people don't care. People want to get to max level of enchanting, they don't care how they get it, they have no issue whatsoever with sinking a ton of gold into doing so. So, if you see stuff on the AH which is 100 gold's worth of mats for 20 gold, then don't be surprised, because that's what people do. They're dumb. They don't care about the market, they don't care about anyone else, they just want to dump their stuff. And that's exactly what they do. They'd be better off enchanting some green gear and then DEing it after the fact, because at least that wouldn't have a negative impact on the economy. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't blame anyone for doing enchants for free for friends, guildies, and all that kind of thing. That's cool. However, I do have problems with people doing enchants for free otherwise. Like, doing an enchant for free because you are not max level, because you want other people to provide the mats so you can level up. That's BS. You're still providing a service. Oh, God, hang on. God, I was coming down something. My apologies. Anyway, you are providing a service. So, you are doing something that should get some compensation. And I'm talking about genuine, real compensation, not just, hey, here's 2 gold for a scroll that's worth 200. And yeah, that happens. It's incredibly dumb. So, don't expect to make money out of enchanting because of that. And the enchants that do make money, there's a handful of them, and the competition is huge. Bear this in mind, especially with the advent of the new AH. If you do not have the remote auction house system on your iPhone or on your computer, or you're able to sit at your computer 24/7, don't expect to make any money. Why? Because enchanting scrolls don't cost anything to list. What does that mean? People will sit there all frickin' day, removing, putting them back on, removing, putting them back on, undercutting you by 1 copper, 2 copper, 3 copper, all frickin' day. And now they can do it while they're sitting on the toilet, or they're at work, or they're on a train. They can do it then, on their iPhone. Good luck competing with that. It's not worth it. Simple as that. And in regards to tailoring, oh, don't even get me started with that. There's only a couple of things you can really make money with at tailoring, and of course the competition is so ridiculous that the profit margin is minuscule. Tiny. Non-existent. It's horrendous. It really is. If you want to make money, then you take professions that are a license to print it. One of which is, of course, mining. And then there is, of course, herbalism. And there is, of course, skinning. Anything that is a gathering profession is a license to print money. 0 investment required. And hey, look, money, money, money all over the place. All you need to do is go and spend some time doing it. Now, if you are a quester, then gathering professions are ideal for you, because you're going to run across this stuff as you quest. I'm a raider. It's useless to me. That's why I am a jewel crafter, and I am an enchanter. That allows me to min-max. At the moment, tailoring, I believe, bear in mind that Elitist Jerks is totally out of date. I think that the tailoring edition that you can put on your cloak is actually optimal at the moment, and enchanting not so much. I've got enchanting and I've got jewel crafting. So I've got the 3 red gems, which gives me bonus spell power, and I've got my rings. So I've got the ring enchant for those as well. It's good stuff. But you've got to differentiate between whether or not you want to make money or whether or not you want to min-max, because right now those are mutually exclusive. You cannot really make an awful lot of money from jewel crafting, and you can't really make an awful lot of money from enchanting either. There are some people that do, obviously, but the vast majority of people do not. The market is dominated by a small amount of people, and everything else, well, you might as well just pick up mining, skinning, herbalism, anything like that, just because you're going to make money that way. You're guaranteed to make money that way. Simple as that. Okay, let's have a look at another email. Wow, I spent way too long on that one. Okay. This is interesting, to say the least. Just one moment. Oh, God. I'll tell you. I've got an appointment at the nose and throat specialist, the NHS hospital, in a few weeks' time to try and deal with this issue I've had for the past year. God, I can't wait to get it dealt with. It is horrendous. Such a pain in the ass to podcast with it. Anyway. Okay. This is way too long, so I'm going to have to come on to this another time. Let's have a look at one more right here. That would take me about 10 minutes to even read. It's a good email, don't get me wrong, but there are times when I just can't afford to read that kind of thing. It's crazy. Okay, here's one. This is good. Hey TB, this is one the Fergonator. I stopped playing WoW a couple of months ago and recently started Warhammer Online. The population of WoW keeps getting smaller. Notably, many of the players appear to be people who left WoW due to lack of challenge, despite being a fairly solid game. DDO and recently Lotro have gone free to play. This has basically saved them from being shut down. Okay, let me just correct that for you. Lotro was in no danger of being shut down. Lotro was sitting on about 1 million players last time I checked, and that was before it went along those lines. Lotro is a really affordable MMO. And just bear this in mind, the subscription fee for the longest time has been lower than WoW and any other competitor. Lotro is in no danger of dying, but the fact of the matter is Turbine did really well with the free-to-play model. It works. It works incredibly well. So, of course, they're switching over to it. So, do you think we'll see other MMOs go that way? Absolutely. No doubt about that. It's worked for Turbine, it can work for other people. It's barely even a question. I mean, honestly, if WoW ends up going the way of the dodo, I would expect it to go free-to-play before it dies. Undoubtedly, and go purely down the lines of micropayments. The DDO system, I think, is a very good one, because it gives you the option to go into a subscription. If I don't want to bother with micropayments and garbage like that, I just pay every month. No worries whatsoever. It goes out of my bank account, I don't care, I don't even notice it. But if you are the kind of person that is perhaps not playing enough to justify the subscription fee, or just doesn't have all that much money, then yeah, free-to-play model is ideal for that. And then you get all those people in the middle that'll buy some points at some point, and they might subscribe for a little while and then come back later. You know, it covers this entire range of players, and that's why it's such a strong model. That's why it works so very well indeed. Right, ladies and gents, my name is Total Biscuit, and I'll be back after the break to talk a little bit about Rated Battlegrounds. This is by Pendulum. It is Self versus Self, and it's featuring In Flames. It is a fantastic track. I would suggest that you listen to it right now. Enjoy.